Namaskar. In this episode of Dil Se, we'll talk about what's happened between April 22 and May 10. आप लोगों को याद है कि 22 अप्रैल को पहलगाम में 26 लोगों की बेरहमी से टेररिस्ट ने मारा और देश में रोष था। हर जन इस देश का चाहता था कि कुछ तो बदला होना चाहिए। ये कब तक चलेगा? 20-25 साल से ये चल रहा है। और विपक्ष के जो नेता थे और विपक्ष के दल थे, एक आवाज़ से उन्होंने सरकार का साथ दिया और एक मीटिंग भी हुई जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि जो भी सरकार करेगी हम सरकार के साथ हैं। और साथ साथ में जम्मू कश्मीर में भी आवाज़ उठी कि ये गलत है, ये हम नहीं मान सकते और कुछ ना कुछ होना चाहिए। ये पाकिस्तान ने बिल्कुल गलत किया और जाहिर है कि ये टेररिस्ट पाकिस्तान से आए हैं। हम सब जानते हैं, ये पहले भी हो चुका है, 2000 से हो रहा है। फिर कुछ ऐसी बातें हुई, हमने आक्रमण किया जो करना भी चाहिए था और प्रधानमंत्री जी ने मीटिंग ली। उन्होंने डिफेंस सर्विसेज को कहा कि जो भी आप करोगे हम आपको पूरी सहमति देते हैं कि आप जो उचित है वो करिए। और फिर टेररिस्ट कैंप्स पे अटैक हुआ और उसके बाद सभी जानते हैं कि ये बढ़ता गया और 10 मई को सीज़ फायर हो गया। इस बीच पाकिस्तान भी दावे कर रहा है कि हमने यहाँ अटैक किया हिंदुस्तान के बॉर्डर के अक्रॉस, और हिंदुस्तान भी कह रहा है। उस बात में हम जा नहीं सकते कि हमें मालूम नहीं, और ये तो सरकार ही बता सकती है क्या हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ। और इसीलिए विपक्ष ने मांग भी की है कि एक पार्लियामेंट की बैठक, स्पेशल सेशन बुलाना चाहिए और प्रधानमंत्री जी को बताना चाहिए कि क्या हुआ और इसकी चर्चा होनी चाहिए। साथ साथ में एक ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग भी होनी चाहिए। तो उसके बारे में तो हम बात नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर क्या स्थिति है, स्पेशली इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप tweeted that he was working for the last 48 hours to bring about this ceasefire, and it was retweeted by Vice President Finance and Marco Rubio, their Secretary of State. Obviously, things had come to a pass to such a stage that ceasefire was necessary. Now, how it happened, why it happened, we can't go into that. लेकिन एक बात तो साफ जाहिर है कि इस इक्वेशन में जो जंग की स्थिति है उसमें लगता मुझे है, ये मैं अपनी राय है, मैं किसी और की राय नहीं बता रहा, कि उस तरफ पाकिस्तान के साथ चीन है और इस तरफ हम अकेले हैं। और मुझे ऐसा भी लगा कि टर्की उनका साथ दे रहा है। और अमेरिका में सेक्रेटरी वैंस ने एक बार स्टेटमेंट भी दी कि ये तो इनकी आपसी लड़ाई है, हम तो इसमें पड़ेंगे नहीं, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान भी हमारा दोस्त है, ये तो प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप ने कहा, और हिंदुस्तान भी हमारा दोस्त है, और ये तो सालों साल हज़ारों साल ये लड़ाई चलती रही है। तो मैं इसमें दखलंदाजी नहीं करूँगा। लेकिन फिर दखलंदाजी हुई, क्यों हुई, कैसे हुई, इसके बारे में हम चर्चा करेंगे। लेकिन सबसे महत्वपूर्ण ये बात है कि अब राजनीति में, हमारी कूटनीति में क्या होना चाहिए और आगे का रास्ता क्या होना चाहिए और क्या सुझाव होना चाहिए, इस पे हम थोड़ी चर्चा करेंगे। हमारे साथ 3 ऐसे लोग हैं जो स्थिति को अच्छी तरह से जानते हैं। नवतेज सरना जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर बीइंग हियर। यू आर अ डिस्टिंग्विश्ड ऑथर, कॉलमनिस्ट, डिप्लोमैट। 1980 you joined the Foreign Service. 38 years you've been in the service, and most important, you've been High Commissioner to the US, and you have been dealing with Israel. Secretary West, you were the spokesperson of the External Affairs Ministry between 2002 and 2008, and you know a lot about this area. And also, let me tell our viewers that you're a great writer. You've written fiction. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Raghavan Saab, for being here. 1982 batch Foreign Service officer, St. Stephen's College, my alma mater, and expert on Pakistan. You're the expert on Pakistan, South Asia policy issues. You were High Commissioner to Pakistan 2013-15. You were Deputy High Commissioner in 2003 to 7. And 2009 to 13, you were High Commissioner to Singapore. And you were JS, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran division between 2007 and 2009. So you know a lot about these people, and you've written a book called People Next Door, right? Yes. Our friends, our neighbors, yes. and the terrorists that are bred there, yes. right? So you know a lot about that. Suhasini, thank you very much for being here. You have actually got your journalism master's from Boston, and you worked with the UN Bureau of the CNN and in 1994 and 95 to 2005, you worked in Delhi for CNN International. 2005 to 2012, you were editor of Foreign Affairs for the CNN IBN. And I used to watch your program called World View, which Suhasini has a very interesting. वो प्रोग्राम तो आप आजकल नहीं करते?
नहीं, मैं करती हूँ, लेकिन हिंदी द हिंदू अखबार के जो यूट्यूब चैनल है
उस पे करती हूँ। अच्छा, चलिए, I must access that soon. And you have had 3 decades of reporting experience from Pakistan, Libya, Sri Lanka, Syria, and of course in 2015 you got the Prem Bhatia Award. सरना साहब, ये बताइए क्या हुआ सीज़फायर? हमें किसी को मालूम नहीं कैसे हुआ, लेकिन जो ट्रंप ने ट्वीट किया उसके बारे में आप बता सकते हैं?
ये सर डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ही बता सकते हैं क्यों ट्वीट किया, कैसे ट्वीट किया. This is part of I think that Donald Trump is caught between 2 desires to make an impact. One is complete I don't care about anybody else except America, make America great again, finish off all these wars, and let's get back to big thing. And I think J.D. Vance का जो statement आपने refer किया when he says that is none of our business, I think that reflects that kind of position. The second thing is, you know, as he even said in his inaugural speech, he wants to be seen as a peacemaker.
Yeah.
Even if he takes the scenic route towards becoming a peacemaker. But he wants to take credit for anything. He's not made much headway in the Middle East, despite a lot of talk. He's not.
पर उसने कहा भी नहीं. यहाँ तो उन्होंने कहा कि पिछले 48 घंटों में
हमने करा दिया.
ये कहा उन्होंने, या तो फिर हमारी सरकार कहे कि ऐसा कुछ हुआ ही नहीं.
और यूक्रेन में कुछ it's still not been able to do it.
But
तो जो भी Americans ने किया, अब it's not clear to us sitting outside the system कि क्या हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ. The indications what we are getting from our media, presumably based on some background briefings or messaging, is that you know, we've done this directly. We were directly in talks, and I think Foreign Secretary's statement yesterday also was very pointed, saying that DGMO of Pakistan called our DGMO. He did not refer to anybody else. Pakistanis, on the other hand, have gone to town praising Trump. So obviously there were phone calls. Whether they were crucial in making the actual call by Pak DGMO, I cannot say, but obviously there were phone calls naturally होती हैं sir, because जब दुनिया में इंडिया पाकिस्तान का कोई conflict situation,
especially जब ये you know nuclear power है.
So the immediate reaction of the world is, you know, we have our own reasons. We need to give a strong message against terrorism and propagation of terrorism. But the world's perception becomes a little more distant, and these are 2 nuclear powers. Let it not spiral out of control. Everybody wants to make a beeline for the capital. We did receive several leaders during these few days.
Of course.
And it would be natural that we would also have been briefing you know, various foreign ministers of powerful countries, because we had to get our narrative out. So somewhere in that mix is this thing, Donald Trump seeing an opportunity and making. Rubio ने भी काफी 3 पैराग्राफ का स्टेटमेंट लगाया है.
Rubio, Trump,
Vance, तीनों ने.
और ट्रंप ने तो 2 बार.
हाँ, 2 बार.
हाँ, and he has also said, Rubio has also said कि अब talks भी होंगी. Now I don't see any either a possibility or even any indication.
उन्होंने कहा कि एक न्यूट्रल जगह पे अब NSAs मिलेंगे दोनों देश के, और वहाँ फिर तय किया जाएगा किस किस्म की टॉक्स हों. लेकिन एक बात तो साफ जाहिर है कि if there is a ceasefire, it can only be that either both sides said thought that they had achieved their objectives, या तो ये है कि हमने जो करना था कर दिया, या दोनों देशों ने ये सोचा कि इसके आगे अगर बढ़ेंगे तो बात ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगी. यही तो कंक्लूजन्स हो सकते हैं ना. हाँ, और अगर ट्रंप ये बात कहता है, देखिए इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी का दखल अंदाजी देना निश्चित रूप से बताता है कि उन्होंने सोचा कि ये हद से बाहर ना हो जाए, और ये सारे विश्व के लिए एक बड़ी डेंजरस बात है। तो या तो हम कहें कि ट्रंप झूठ बोल रहा है, वो तो कहने की स्थिति में नहीं है, और अगर सच बोल रहा है तो सच क्या है ये तो हमारा प्रधानमंत्री जी और बता सकते हैं। लेकिन what do you think? Do you think that Trump actually is taking credit for something that he has not done, or he must have done something?
Well, to my mind, the details are not so important.
Okay.
But the bigger point is that if India and Pakistan move towards a military crisis, others, whether you like it or not, will get involved. And we also have to recognize that the Pakistani strategy always is to try to create a kind of crisis so that others come into the picture.
That's true.
And our effort traditionally always was that we are playing a long game with Pakistan. Our real strengths are our economy, the diversity of our society, how well India is doing, how our stock has risen in the international community, while Pakistan is, in its own morass of all kinds of fault lines and issues. If we are playing that long game, we should try to avoid crisis points. So I think our effort has always been to keep the focus on terrorism rather than make it into a military nuclear flashpoint, because that in a sense evens the playing field. And then people forget about the terrorism issue and our great difficulties in dealing with such a recalcitrant neighbor, and try to approach it in an even-handed way, that let's try to give something to both sides and see if we can make a more stable arrangement.
But when you were High Commissioner at that point in time, this was during the UPA days, what was, how did you relate to these things? Did you convey to them that, look, you've got these camps, why don't you do something about them? What was Dr. Manmohan Singh thinking?
Well, Dr. Manmohan Singh's view, for instance, post Mumbai, and I was then in Delhi dealing with Pakistan when the attack happened. And in fact, at that time, the Pakistan foreign minister was in India. I think Dr. Manmohan Singh realized, perhaps intuitively, that the way to put pressure on Pakistan was to maintain a certain international profile with regard to terrorism, and that would enable all countries to put a huge amount of diplomatic pressure. And to a great extent, that pressure did succeed, because we saw a certain reluctant, minimal, but a certain amount of cooperation with regard to at least taking some action against these terrorist groups. It wasn't the optimum level of cooperation, and it was always very, very niggardly, but there was some movement. And therefore, the school of thought was there that we should try to have a cooperative relationship so that you can put pressure on them when required, and also avoid crisis points.
That's correct.
Now, to some extent, this was the approach of the UPA and also of the NDA when it came to power in 2014, till about the end of 2015, early 2016, in fact, till the middle of 2016. That let's try to build a more cooperative relationship and keep the focus very strongly, not so much on military crisis, but on terrorism.
I remember the context of what you said. After 2008, we formed groups as members of parliament, including the members of the opposition, and we used to travel to different parts of the world explaining what Pakistan was doing. And that resulted in a lot of goodwill, because I myself led a delegation to African countries. And it brought about a lot of goodwill, right? This government has not done any of that, and I think it should. But apart from that, the fact that they have refused to have a dialogue with Pakistan makes things a little more difficult to really bridge and talk about issues that will ultimately, resolve matters. And I think that's, according to me, a wrong strategy, but we'll talk about that later. Suhasini ji, ये आप बताइए. This is something very important. कि इस बीच सऊदी के लोग भी यहाँ आए, ईरान के भी आए, वैंग यी ने बात भी की पाकिस्तान से, हमारे से. चाइना ने ये भी स्टेटमेंट दी कि we are not fair weather friends. We will protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Pakistan, ये भी उन्होंने कहा, और ट्रंप ने भी जो कहा सो कहा. तो obviously there was a lot of international pressure, and so obviously there was something brewing.
देखिए, मुझे नहीं लगता है कि प्रेशर या किसी
Both
तरह के
sides
प्रभाव के अंदर भारत अपना कोई निर्णय लेगा, क्योंकि भारत ने बहुत सालों से पाकिस्तान के साथ इस तरह के कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स तो हो चुके हैं पहले भी, शायद ये थोड़ा लंबा रह गया या थोड़ा और सीरियस हो गया था. लेकिन मैं ज़रूर कहूँगी कि मिस्टर ट्रंप ने जो ट्वीट किए हैं और ट्रूथ सोशल पे जो लिखा है सोशल मीडिया पोस्ट, वैसे तो हम नकार देते, हम उसको मतलब लाफेबल समझ लेते कि हम इस पे बस हंस देंगे, और क्या पता कभी कभार वो क्लेम कर देते हैं, कभी कभार किसी से बात करने की बात करते हैं और वो कहते हैं कि हमने इनसे कोई बात नहीं की. लेकिन 3-4 चीज़ें हैं जो मुझे लगता है चिंताजनक हैं और हमें देखना चाहिए कि मिस्टर ट्रंप ने क्या कहा है. एक बात ये है कि मिस्टर ट्रंप का जो ट्रूथ सोशल पे पोस्ट आया वो 5:30 बजे आया था. हमारे विदेश सचिव विक्रम मिस्री 6 बजे उन्होंने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की थी. तो भारत और पाकिस्तान के ऐलान के पहले आधे घंटे पहले यूएस के प्रेसिडेंट का ये कहना थोड़ा और सीरियस बन जाता है. इट मीन्स कि ही ऑलरेडी न्यू व्हाट वाज कमिंग. 3:30 बजे अगर डीजीएमओस की बात हुई थी तो शायद हमने सबको बताया था, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि आज के ज़माने में जहाँ सबके पास ट्विटर है, सबके पास ट्रूथ सोशल है, भारतीय सरकार का ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, उनको ये पहले भारतीयों को बताना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल सही, ये बात मैं,
ये ऐसे नौबत नहीं होनी चाहिए कि कोई अमरीकी लिख दे कहीं पर और वो अपना स्पिन उस पर डाल रहे हैं. दूसरी चीज़ मैं कहूँगी कि भारत के 3 असूल हैं इन सब मामलों में. एक कि हम कोई मध्यस्थता नहीं लेंगे, नो थर्ड पार्टी मीडिएशन. दूसरा कि हम कोई हाइफनेशन नहीं चाहते, पाकिस्तान के साथ हम बराबरी नहीं चाहते, जोड़ना नहीं चाहते. यहाँ आप देखिए ईरान के जो फॉरेन मिनिस्टर थे अरागची, वो पहले पाकिस्तान गए मंडे को, फिर भारत आए वेंसडे को. वैसे भी दोनों के बीच में अभी एयर स्पेसेस बंद थे तो ऐसे नहीं जा सकते थे. सऊदी के जो डिप्यूटी फॉरेन मिनिस्टर थे पहले शायद इंडिया गए, फिर पाकिस्तान गए. यूरोप के बहुत सारे ऐसे नेता हैं जिन्होंने दोनों देशों में बात की, और जो नैरेटिव उनका था वो बस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रेजोल्यूशन का था. ये नहीं कि टेररिज्म पे फोकस आप रखो, आतंकवाद पे आप फोकस रखो. तो ये 2 चीज़ें थी, मध्यस्थता और डिहाइफनेशन भारत चाहता था, लेकिन इस मामले में नहीं हुआ. तीसरा, भारत कहते रहता है कि हमारे अंदरूनी मामलों में हम अंतर्राष्ट्रीयकरण हम बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे, इंटरनेशनलाइजेशन नहीं होना चाहिए. अब आप मिस्टर ट्रंप के ट्वीट्स देखिए, उन्होंने एक तो भारत और पाकिस्तान के बारे में बराबरी की है कि ये भी अच्छे लोग हैं, ये भी अच्छे लोग हैं, दोनों प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स बहुत अच्छे लोग हैं, हम दोनों के साथ ट्रेड करना चाहते हैं. भारत का यूएस के साथ 140-130 बिलियन डॉलर्स का ट्रेड है, फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट अभी नेगोशिएट हो रहा है, पाकिस्तान के साथ $10 बिलियन के करीब है, और आप बराबरी कर रहे हैं दोनों के रिश्तों में. और फिर आप कह रहे हो, दूसरा उन्होंने कहा मध्यस्थता हम कर रहे हैं. तीसरा उन्होंने कहा कि हम कश्मीर पे इन दोनों के बीच में सहमति,
न्यूट्रल टेरिटरी पे बात होगी
नहीं. और ट्रंप ने कहा है कि आई एम विलिंग टू रिजॉल्व द कश्मीर इशू, हेल्प यू रिजॉल्व द कश्मीर इशू. ये एक बात पहले 2000 और हम संसद में जयशंकर जी ने नकार दिया उनको, और उन्होंने कहा कि प्रधानमंत्री ने ऐसे कोई बात नहीं की है. तो मुझे लगता है कि ये चिंताजनक है कि ट्रंप के दोनों ट्वीट्स में आतंकवाद का कोई जिक्र नहीं है. उन्होंने जो मतलब मेन मुद्दा है भारत के लिए हम दूसरे देशों से बात नहीं करना चाहते हमारे द्विपक्षीय संबंध के बारे में, हम उस बारे में करना चाहते हैं जो इंटरनेशनल इशू है, और वो है आतंकवाद. और गवर्नमेंट ने अभी तक काफ़ी ब्रीफिंग्स की हुई हैं, गवर्नमेंट ने अभी तक, सरकार ने स्पष्ट तरीके से ट्रंप को नकारा नहीं है. मुझे लगता है कि उनको थोड़ी स्पष्ट रूप से ऑन द रिकॉर्ड बता देना चाहिए कि ये अमेरिका का क्या रोल था, उन्होंने क्या किया, किन से बात की, किन से पहले बात की. स्पष्ट तरीके से खुल के बोलना चाहिए, इस पे कोई शक नहीं है.
इस पॉइंट पे मैं थोड़ा सा आई वांट टू एक्सपैंड अ बिट, बिकॉज एक तो ये जो भी हुआ, आई मीन आई डोंट नो द फैक्ट्स ऑफ द ग्राउंड, बट लेट अस टेक एट फेस वैल्यू कि ट्रंप कहते हैं मैंने बातचीत कराई है, ऑल्दो वी हैव इंडिकेटेड कि हमने डायरेक्टली किया था. This is not, to my mind, this is not mediation in the sense that we reject it. Mediation is on issues. This is bringing about an end of hostilities, which is nothing new. I don't feel very nervous कि हमारी position, हमारी Simla position.
Like Trump is doing in Ukraine, exactly that.
But
Israel
but
as
this is ये conflict resolution at a point. We've had it before. We had Kargil on July 4th. Nawaz Sharif was called to White House in '99. We've had Tashkent. So that is not mediation.
You're right.
Mediation would be like, US-Iran talks, कोई third country करवा रही है. Taliban-US talks, कोई third country करवा रही है. When you sit down and discuss issues and there's a third person in the room. So this is not that.
नहीं, मैं आपसे सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू, सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ. जैसे सुहासिनी जी ने कहा कि ये मीडिएशन की बात नहीं है, आप सही हैं, लेकिन इन्होंने ये भी कहा है कि हम न्यूट्रल कंट्री में दोनों NSA जाके मिलेंगे. तो ये रूबियो ने कहा है, ये मीडिएशन की बात नहीं है.
और स्टेट डिपार्टमेंट ने कहा है दिस इज अ US brokered ceasefire.
ये इशू है.
नहीं, US brokered ceasefire is separate
वो
than
separate,
saying
I'm just saying.
they are going to talk in a, we haven't heard from the Indian government on whether, I think the road from end of hostilities to beginning of a political process is a very long road. So you cannot jump in 3 short paragraphs from saying कि अच्छा stop firing and let's meet and chat.
No, I agree with you.
It's not happening. So that is clearly an overstatement of reality by Rubio. And now, sooner or later, in the next few days, we will see that our stand will come out and it will be conveyed. I don't think, given the overall situation in the world, given Trump's manner of dealing with countries, given India-US relationship, I don't think we are going to come up and say that what Trump is completely off track. We won't say it, we'll let it go over the shoulder. We'll let it go over the shoulder and we'll come back in our own way. We are not going to, I would be very surprised if we head on the Indian government issues a press release saying we disagree with State Department.
No question of
There's
that.
no
We've
point.
had to do it in the past in Parliament.
There's no point. I think this
होगा.
will be allowed to blow over and then we will come back with our message.
But ये जो pressurized की बात की ना, we are not, nobody can say that we were pressurized. But the fact of the matter is, all these international communities and leaders of states are talking to Foreign Minister of Pakistan, Foreign Minister of India, Prime Minister of India. Now, if it were just a limited conflict, which is not likely to escalate, this wouldn't have happened. This is my own interpretation. So obviously, the international community thought that these things may out of hand. And therefore, not that they pressured, they advised both the countries that, look, de-escalate.
And I think that there was one point at which when India sent its missiles or others into Air Force bases of Pakistan, I think that is when Pakistan also realized that this would get much more serious.
And then they retaliated.
Yeah, and they retaliated, and I think that is when the international community really got involved. I would be interested when we say pressure, the question is really, we have to ask our government. We can't ask somebody else's government, so we want that kind of information here. Did India want a ceasefire or whatever they call it, a ceasefire agreement, a stoppage of hostilities? Did India want the ceasefire? Was the ceasefire done against our wishes? And if we wanted a ceasefire, at what point, because it was only 3 days, at what point did we decide that we actually wanted the ceasefire?
But just go to Raghavanji. The issue is that if we had achieved our objectives, let's say that we did what we had to do, we destroyed their terrorist camps, some of these defense establishments were destroyed, and we had achieved our purpose. We would have said, we have achieved our purpose, nothing more to be done, thank you very much. That didn't happen.
Well, I think we have to be clear as to what could possibly have been our reasonable objectives. I mean, clearly we were the victim of a very, very dastardly terrorist attack, and something had to be done. We announced a number of diplomatic measures, and one of them in particular was very, very significant, which is keeping the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance. Because somehow, if Pakistan was under the impression that there are certain aspects of the India-Pakistan relationship which are ring-fenced from an overall deterioration because of terrorist attacks, keeping the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance has corrected that misimpression. Yeah. It's a very, very powerful sanction, and we have not employed it in the past, despite very bad situations in the past too. So I think a message was being conveyed, and possibly in the aftermath of every terrorist attack, there are always three audiences, or rather there are three messages which have to be sent out. One is to the international community, the second is to your own domestic audience, and third, of course, most importantly, is to Pakistan itself. I think embarking on kinetic measures was to reinforce the message that major terrorist attacks come with a huge cost. And we are prepared to undertake measures which will inflict those costs. So I would say when it came to, after 3 days of climbing the escalation ladder, I think both these messages probably had gone across, and there was little point in moving further up the escalation ladder, because it's quite evident that countries will agree to a ceasefire only when it is in their interest.
That's correct.
And certainly there was something in it, both for India and for Pakistan, to agree.
Exactly.
And frankly, in terms of reasonable objectives, I can't think of any other objectives which we could have had, because there's no possibility of major territorial gains or of changing the nature of
not in modern warfare anymore.
The nature of the Pakistani state. All of those are unrealistic objectives.
Right.
So I think one can say, to an extent, the messages we wanted sent to Pakistan have been sent, but our effort now should be to keep the focus firmly on terrorism and not so much on the escalatory process or a nuclear flashpoint, because that actually reduces pressure on Pakistan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pakistan's effort always is to create a military situation. In the aftermath of Mumbai, when we had no intention of embarking on kinetic measures, the Pakistanis tried their level best to draw us into a military situation, because that would have deflected the pressure on them.
2019 में भी यही
2019 में भी यही हुआ. We have to keep the focus very centrally on terrorism.
Because that also provides Pakistan this so-called hyphenation. Because because the dehyphenation has been done because of the tremendous capabilities of, the world has realized that India is a different kind of country. India has a different future. India has a different potential.
Yes, exactly.
And, we cannot put these two. But when at a very superficial level, in this kind of a situation, when the world is seeing, two nuclear guys fighting, there is a superficial hyphenation. And this hyphenation, again, I don't bother if a foreign minister comes to both capitals, they do it.
No, that's fine, that's not.
But the hyphenation in the mind, that these, that has to be, and I think it's easy for us today to break this hyphenation. We've succeeded in doing it. This is a momentary hyphenation which will go away, because I think the countries realize which country really matters today. So ultimately, that will also
go. Let's take on from your point about the Indus Waters Treaty. If you're really concentrating on the issue of terrorism and you bring in the Indus Waters Treaty, you are actually dehyphenating, because you're yourself saying, okay, we're going to punish you by not giving you water. What's going to happen in any future negotiation? Pakistan will say, we'll talk about terrorism if you withdraw from the Indus, your order on the decision on the Indus Water Treaty. That's going to happen.
But this is the first time, I think, also India has made it contingent. The suspension of the Indus Water Treaty is not a temporary one.
Yes.
It has been made contingent on Pakistan acting on terrorism. Now, how we are going to judge this or not, I don't know. In the past, पहले हमने बहुत बार कहा है कि आतंकवाद और बातचीत साथ नहीं जा सकती, और फिर हमने बातचीत भी की है. प्रधानमंत्री खुद जब लाहौर गए थे, उसके पहले हम कहते थे कि ये दोनों चीज़ें साथ साथ नहीं जा सकती हैं. तो देखना पड़ेगा कि क्या इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी में कोई अभी मतलब कोई सॉफ्टनिंग होगी या इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी को फिर से बहाल किया जाएगा, हम देखेंगे।
उसमें प्रॉब्लम ये आती है कि वो जो इम्पैक्ट होता है तो आवाम पे होता है ना,
बिल्कुल,
ठीक है ना। और बाकी देश भी कहेंगे कि आप टेररिज्म की बात तो ठीक है, आपकी बात हम मानते हैं, लेकिन आप ये क्यों।
और एक तीसरी
मेरी अपनी राय है।
लेकिन इसमें एक रीजन है, बिकॉज वी हैव अपग्रेडेड आवर मैसेज. Message is not only against terrorists or some kind of deep state support to terrorism. It is that Pakistan is backing terrorism as a country.
Correct.
So therefore, if we take a measure which harms Pakistan, we are actually harming the backers of terrorism.
There's a difference between, I mean, this is my own opinion. The difference is you can harm the state, but the dialogue is going to be fine. You do what you want to do for the state, because really it's the ordinary people who get water.
और आपको पता है वैसे ही पानी की किल्लत है, वैसे ही बिजली की किल्लत है।
ये बात आपकी ठीक है, लेकिन
तो लोगों का जो है, लोगों का आक्रोश अब सारे भारत
वो हमारे नेगेटिव भी हो सकता है, मैं इसलिए बात ये कह रहा हूँ।
But at this stage जो मुद्दा है वो मैसेज भेजने का है।
हाँ, वो तो हो गया।
मतलब अभी there is no question of water being stopped or water being curtailed, because that is not a realistic possibility. The thing is, how do you convey the depths of your outrage? And this has to be conveyed directly both to the state and to the people.
This is not a realistic possibility during monsoon times, but it's a realistic possibility today.
But even so, it's a very, very minimal possibility. The realities of the water sharing, of the water flows are such, and your upstream capacities are such that you cannot do much, and the Pakistanis know that. The point is, what is the message you are conveying?
That is true.
And also, there is a background to the Indus Waters Treaty itself, in the sense that for the last 5 years, it's been under a lot of pressure. And there are people in both countries who feel that, yes, this treaty is now 50 years old.
Yeah, we need to renegotiate.
It is in many ways also in Pakistan's interest to think of a new or revisions of the treaty.
Correct.
So we are still too close to the crisis to think about what will happen. But in my view, with Pakistan, we have to play a long hand, a long game. And usme, if you securitize the relationship, if you make it a relationship based on military coercion alone, you will not make progress. Yes. You have to bring, as Navtej was saying, all your strengths, which is your economic strength, your cultural strength, your society's strengths, into the equation when dealing with Pakistan.
I entirely agree with you.
And you cannot have a narrow-based relationship.
And what you said very right, namely, it's the message that has gone. कि भाई हम ये भी कर सकते हैं.
Yes.
Even though we don't, may not take it forward, or we may not be able to take it forward, but that message has gone. Let me ask you, Suhasini ji, on something that you're dealing with every day. ये मीडिया ने क्या किया हमारे देश?
I think अब हमें ये भी कहना पड़ेगा कि we do not represent the whole media. Each journalist is obviously.
क्या हो रहा था? क्या हो रहा?
मुझे लगता है कि एक जो बुधवार रात को हुआ और फिर बृहस्पतिवार रात को हुआ, गुरुवार रात को हुआ, वो बहुत शर्मनाक था। और यहाँ तक कि हमने देखा है कि कुछ ऐसे चैनल्स थे जिन्होंने माफ़ी भी मांगी अगले दिन। उन्होंने कहा कि हमने गलत चीज़ें छापी थी या गलत चीज़ें कही थी, अपने वेबसाइट पे कुछ लिखा हुआ था, ट्वीट कितने दिग्गज जर्नलिस्ट ने ट्वीट भी किया कि फलाने जगह को कैप्चर कर दिया है, प्राइम मिनिस्टर के घर पे गोलीबारी, मतलब हमने गोला भेजा है, खूब चल रहा है वहाँ पे। फिर ये भी कहा गया कि हमने जो अटैक में नेवी को आगे किया था, कराची हार्बर को बॉम्ब किया था। तो ये सब जो अफवाहें जो फैल रही थी उनको उन्होंने बंद किया। लेकिन ये भी मैं कहूँगी, ये नहीं है कि इसमें मैं अपने कौम को, अपने मीडिया को गुनहगार नहीं समझती हूँ, लेकिन जब आपको लग रहा है कि नैरेटिव इस तरफ चल रहा है तो सरकार का भी उसकी कुछ तो जिम्मेदारी थी कि उस वक्त आकर आप कह दो कि ये सब मिथ्या है, ये सब झूठ है, और अपनी तरफ से एक रेगुलर ब्रीफिंग कर लो। जो पिछले 2 दिन में हमने देखा है, जो रेगुलर ब्रीफिंग चल रही है, और हमारे जो 2 ऑफिसर्स थे, व्योमिका सिंह और सोफिया कुरैशी, कर्नल सोफिया कुरैशी, तो उन्होंने स्पष्ट रूप से कहा कि पाकिस्तान ने जो गलत खबरें भेजी हैं, वो ये है और इसका हम खंडन करते हैं, इसका हम खंडन करते हैं। तो उस वक्त भी तो करना चाहिए था कि अगर ये, क्योंकि इससे एक माहौल पैदा हो जाता है कि अगर हमने ये किया है तो फिर पाकिस्तान भी यही करेगा। तो लोगों में डर फैल गया था, लोग जाकर खरीद रहे थे सामान, लोग अपना कोई वो सेल फोन खरीद रहे थे, कोई बैटरीज खरीद रहे थे। अब आप अगर अपने ही लोगों को डरा दोगे इस तरह से, पाकिस्तान को डराने की कोशिश में, तो आई थिंक काउंटरप्रोडक्टिव और ये सायोप से थोड़ा ज्यादा हो जाता है। मतलब अपने ही लोगों पे सायोप्स नहीं करना चाहिए। और
यूपीए के सरकार में भी टाइम में ऐसी बातें हुई, लेकिन मीडिया ने ऐसा कभी नहीं किया उस समय।
मीडिया को अपने आप देखना पड़ेगा कि क्या उसकी जो खबरें हैं वो कहाँ से आ रही हैं, 2 सोर्सेज होनी चाहिए। ये सब हमें सिखाया जाता है। अब मैं एक अखबार में हूँ तो हमारे लिए थोड़ा सा आसान है, क्योंकि एक अखबार निकलता है दिन में, तो हम अच्छे से उसके बारे में पूछ के फिर हम कर सकते हैं हमारी रिपोर्टिंग। बट आई थिंक व्हाट इज हैपन इज दिस इज द एज ऑफ सोशल मीडिया। यू कैनॉट हैव अ सिचुएशन वेयर द MEA is able to tweet and doesn't tweet.
Yes.
If you have access to that audience, that is the time to tweet.
Correct.
Tell people not to worry. Instead,
Yes.
what were we doing? We were doing air raid sirens. We were telling people every minute to, and not just in the border area. So you can blame the media, but we were also getting the cities ready, telling people in other places to get their air raid sirens, civil defense ready. So obviously the purpose was that India is getting into a very, very tough conflict situation. In that situation, there will always be a fog of war, as they say, and there will also be a lot of different stories going around. It is incumbent on the government to work out an SOP. Now it's not too late even today for the government to have an SOP and say ki we will brief every 3 hours or 6 hours.
Correct.
and put somebody in charge of that.
Yes, absolutely right. Let me shift to another subject. I think we all agree that ultimately military option is not an option. We'll have to deal with terrorism, and we'll have to bring about pressure, inform the community, and the world is interested in investing in India. We are destined to be a great economic power, there's no doubt about it. So we should move away from any other dialogue and concentrate on the terrorism issue. Because in the context of the military option, we have a real problem. The problem is with Wang Yi's statement that, look, we are not a fair weather friend, and the fact that they have supplied them the PL-15s, which are air-to-air missiles, which are far stronger than any such thing in the world. They have supplied them with the J-10Cs, which are fighter aircraft, and they have got enormous cyber capacities, right? Enormous intelligence capacities. So they can, in fact, inflict a lot of damage to our installations. So I think the more we move away from the possibility of conflict to the real issue of they being the hotbed of terrorism, that should be our future strategy, is my view. What do you say?
Absolutely. I think there's no question about that we have to build up our strengths, firstly. B, we have to bring back again center stage the real problem with Pakistan.
Right.
And that is its support and backing of terrorism. And what we have done is alerted the world that whatever the cost may be, we will not take this kind of invasion of our civilians, by terrorists, and they can come in at will, shoot people and go away, and are backed with impunity. So I think that message has gone home. Having given that message, now we have to get back, and I'm sure we will already be back to building a country which is going to be the 3rd largest economy in the world and not get diverted. And on Pakistan, the focus has to be using all our good relationships with all the good and great powers of the world today to say that, yes, you have to cooperate with us across all avenues, whether it is through FATF, whether it is through, we haven't touched the IMF issue, but whether it is through similar things, that there has to be a cost to supporting terrorism. And I think we'll have to work, we'll have to use our diplomatic clout, and we have a tremendous thing. We are in a completely different league. So this question of getting bogged down into this India-Pakistan slanging match or slogging match should not be even entertained.
No, I agree. What do you say?
Well, I would agree entirely that if you look at the last decade, roughly from 2010 till 2020 or so, it was a decade in which we brought about a huge amount of diplomatic pressure, which led to all kinds of restrictions on Pakistan, forced Pakistan to take steps against domestic terrorist groups. It shut down a number of groups.
They were in the grey list of the...
They were in the grey list of FATF, and basically that happened because it was very evident to the world that India has really tried with Pakistan at a bilateral level, but this terrorism issue is eroding all those efforts. So all the efforts made between 2004 and 2008, 9, 10, thereafter the efforts made by Prime Minister Modi in 2014, 15, 16, all of that registered, and you built up a very, very convincing narrative that we are really trying to build up a positive relationship, but it's not working. And we need a certain amount of, you need an international ecosystem to push Pakistan in a certain direction, and that succeeded. By cutting off all links, by securitizing the issue, by to an extent thinking that you can deal with the rest of the world and put your neighborhood aside, that strategy has not been as effective. Because in the end, how you engage with your neighbors is how other countries are going to judge you also on. Absolutely. They will of course take your other opportunities and strengths into account, but how you manage your neighborhood is also your responsibility.
But tell me, following up on this, should we talk to Pakistan?
देखिए, बातचीत करने में मुझे नहीं लगता है कि स्पेशली डिप्लोमैट्स को कभी कोई हर्ज होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि इंगेजमेंट डज नॉट मीन कॉम्प्रोमाइज. इंगेजमेंट मीन्स इंगेजमेंट. और हमें ये भी याद रखना पड़ेगा कि अगर बातचीत से कोई बात नहीं बनी है तो बातचीत ना करने से भी कोई बात नहीं बनी है. वही कटघरे पर हम आज खड़े हुए हैं. तीसरी चीज़ मैं ये ज़रूर कहूँगी कि इन्होंने 2008 का जिक्र किया और जो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय प्रभाव पड़ा था पाकिस्तान पे, लेकिन हम ये भी भूल रहे हैं कि 2008 के बाद पाकिस्तान ने खुद पहली और आखिरी बार कहा कि हाँ, ये जो आतंकवाद का हादसा हुआ है ये पाकिस्तान में पला बढ़ा है. कि कसब तो एक थे, लेकिन उन्होंने कहा कि जो कंस्पिरेसी रची गई थी वो वहाँ पर थी. पाकिस्तान के अपने कोर्ट्स में उनके फेडरल इन्वेस्टिगेटिव एजेंसी ने एविडेंस दिया कि जो नाव था, जो शिप था, जो जिनसे वो आए थे कराची से, वो लश्कर तोयबा ने खरीदा था. कि जहाँ उनकी ट्रेनिंग हुई थी सिंध में, वहाँ उनको शेल्स मिले थे जो बॉम्बे में यूज़ हुए थे. तो जिस एक्सप्लोजिव्स जो थे, विस्फोटक जो थे बॉम्बे में, वो वहाँ सिंध में मिले थे. ये सब इन्होंने कोर्ट में बोला है. लेकिन किसी वक्त ऐसा हो गया कि पाकिस्तान की जो हुकूमत है, जो हमें पता है मिलिट्री हुकूमत है, उन्होंने डिसाइड किया कि अब ये केस आगे नहीं जाएगा.
हमने ये कहा कि वो कह रहे हैं कि ट्रायल में हमें एविडेंस ही नहीं देते.
और वॉइस सैंपल्स पे बात बिल्कुल अटक गई, क्योंकि हमारे पास वो भी वॉइस सैंपल था जिसमें हाफिज सईद, ज़कीर रहमान लखवी दहशतगर्द से बातचीत कर रहे थे, डायरेक्टली बात कर रहे थे और कह रहे थे और लोगों को मारो. लेकिन मैं बस इतना कहना चाह रही हूँ कि हमारा जो ये मानना है कि बातचीत से कुछ नहीं हो सकता, ये भी गलत है. बातचीत प्रधानमंत्री के स्तर पे होना जरूरी नहीं है. मुझे पता नहीं कि हर बार हम समिट लेवल पे क्यों पहुंच जाते हैं. पाकिस्तान हो, चीन हो, जो भी हो, उनके साथ आप
बैक चैनल डिप्लोमेसी
और आप बातचीत जारी रखिए. जो सेक्रेटरी लेवल पे है या जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी लेवल पे है, जो भी छोटे मोटे मुद्दे हैं उनको आप जारी रखिए. लेकिन अगर आपको कार्रवाई करनी है तो आप वो कार्रवाई भी कीजिए. लेकिन ये आइडिया कि हम बातचीत नहीं कर सकते, अगर हम सब चीज़ों पे हम सोच सकते हैं. आज इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी को सस्पेंड कर दिया है. और तीसरी बात मैं कहूँगी कि ये सरकार ने भी, अगर आप देखो, एक बैक चैनल, जैसे आप कह रहे थे, बैक चैनल इन्होंने चलाई बहुत साल तक. डोवल जी उनके काउंटर पार्ट से बात कर रहे थे. जब यहाँ से एक मिसफायर हुआ, एक टेस्ट मिसाइल जा रहा था, पाकिस्तान में गया, पाकिस्तान की तरफ से कोई मतलब जवाब नहीं आया. ये बैक चैनल की वजह से था. जब 2021 में हमने एक सीज फायर नेगोशिएट किया था DGMOs के बीच में, तो तब हमारा चीन के साथ तब LAC पे प्रॉब्लम्स हो रही थी. तो तब हमने नेगोशिएट किया पाकिस्तान से। तो अगर हम इस वक्त भी इनसे कुछ ना कुछ बातचीत कर सकते हैं तो ये कहना गलत होगा कि बातचीत ही नहीं हो रही है या बात कभी नहीं करनी चाहिए। बात आप करते रहिए, जो आपको कार्रवाई करनी है आतंकवाद पे और दूसरे मुद्दे पे आप करते रहिए।
अब डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह हमारे कार्यकाल में कभी पाकिस्तान नहीं गए लेकिन बातचीत जारी रखी, तो आपका क्या कहना है इसके बारे में?
उन दिनों तो बातचीत काफ़ी अच्छी तरह जारी थी और कई विजिट्स हुई, फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी लेवल की, फॉरेन मिनिस्टर लेवल की।
आपके हिसाब से होनी चाहिए?
एकदम से उस लेवल पे तो बातचीत होगी नहीं। जहाँ रहा सवाल एंगेजमेंट का, एंगेजमेंट तो होनी चाहिए, बट एंगेजमेंट शुड नॉट बी सीन एज सरेंडर। अब ये हमें खुद सोचना पड़ेगा इस एपिसोड के बाद कि is engagement surrender or is engagement a way of resolving this problem, of seeing if we can somehow just have that cutout of terrorism and work with whatever pressure we can through other countries on the Pakistani establishment to cut out that. So एक और चीज़ इसमें साफ हो गई है इस एपिसोड में, और the world must be watching this very carefully and analyzing this very carefully, is the linkage militarily between China and Pakistan.
Absolutely.
And that works to our advantage.
Yes, of course.
And we should play that up. We should, in our interaction with other countries, terrorism plus the fact that China is using this as a cat's paw.
Yes, absolutely.
And does the world accept that? And you want a great relationship with India? So everything can't happen. So this is an argument which I'm sure will be deployed, and it's a powerful argument which will help us put pressure again on the
because
support.
This is one of our biggest problems today.
Yes.
That we know there is Bangladesh today in the eastern side. You have China collaborating with them, and the kind of technology they have that matches the rest, the US. So where are we in that context? And you are absolutely right. We can use it to our advantage. But बातचीत तो होनी चाहिए ना?
Yeah, of course होनी चाहिए. और उससे ज़्यादा we have to be totally realistic in our view. मतलब पाकिस्तान के साथ कभी ऐसी स्थिति नहीं होगी कि आपके कोई मसले रहेंगे ही नहीं. It will always be a problem-prone relationship. पर अगर आप देखें नेपाल के साथ भी आपके रिश्ते उसी तरीके से हैं. बांग्लादेश के भी आपके जो रिश्ते हैं उसी तरीके. With all your neighborhood relations, they are prone to ups and downs. They are prone to swings. We are a much larger country.
Right.
We have to learn to take it in our stride. We shouldn't be thrown off balance by something which happens. So I think, मुझे तो लगता है with Pakistan we should remain engaged. We should use all our strengths. उसमें economic भी है, commercial भी है, cultural भी है, political भी है. और हमको ये कभी नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि हम we can conduct foreign policy without dealing with our neighbors simultaneously.
तो मेरे मन में मुद्दा आता है which I want your views on, कि the strength of any foreign policy of any country depends on our economic clout. जो आर्थिक स्थिति है हमारी, जब तक वो मजबूत नहीं होगी तब तक हमारी कूटनीति में मजबूती नहीं आ सकती. और हम जो concentrate कर रहे हैं वो आर्थिक स्थिति की मजबूती पे नहीं कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि जब तक आप अपनी बिजनेस कम्युनिटी को, अपनी एजुकेशन सेक्टर में, आपके हेल्थ सेक्टर में आपको हर मानव को अधिकार नहीं दोगे ताकि वो आगे बढ़े, ताकि आप ये तो ठीक है कि भाई वी विल बी द थर्ड लार्जेस्ट, दैट डजंट मीन एनीथिंग, बिकॉज वी स्टिल हैव 800 मिलियन पीपल जो 5,000 रुपये में अपना महीना कमाते हैं. तो दैट डजंट गिव अस इकोनॉमिक क्लाउड. तो पहली बात आर कॉन्सेंट्रेशन इज टू बिल्ड दैट इकोनॉमिक क्लाउड. देश की पॉलिसी होने चाहिए इकोनॉमिक क्लाउड अपना बढ़ाओ. उसके बाद जो डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट है आपकी, हाँ, आपको कोलैबोरेट करना पड़ेगा, चाहे वो इजराइल के साथ हो, चाहे वो यूएस के साथ हो, कोलैबोरेट करना पड़ेगा टू गेट टेक्नोलॉजीज सो दैट देयर इज अ डिटेरेंस. आज के दिन वो सोचते हैं, चाइना सोचता है और पाकिस्तान सोचता है चाइना तो हमारी मदद करेगी ही करेगी, टर्की तो हमें देगा ही देगा सामान, ठीक है ना, और बाकी देश भी हमारे संग रहेंगे. तो आई थिंक दीज आर टू इश्यूज दैट नीड टू बी एड्रेस्ड, which I'm afraid, that's my opinion, were not being addressed with the kind of seriousness that
Possibly,
they deserve.
and if you look in the larger sense, terrorists have always tried to attack India on the economy. The attack on Mumbai was India's economic heart. Even in Pahalgam, there were many parts to it, and Foreign Secretary said it very well. One was to terrorize and traumatize people. The second was to instigate communal riots in the country, which they were unsuccessful in doing. And the third was to try and destroy a nascent Kashmiri economy. Correct. So they are seeing that India's economic prowess and growth is something that will eventually drown them out. Correct. But the idea should always be that we don't allow our security to overrun our development issues, but we should not allow our development to make it difficult to keep our security also.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. What do you say?
No, I think, sir, everything has to go hand in hand. Everything has to go hand in hand. You cannot have a sectoral approach to your overall development. I mean, we cannot become vulnerable on our defense.
Naturally.
And naturally, we have to concentrate on our balanced and inclusive.
That's very important. This is what I'm saying.
That's the point you're making.
Yes.
It has to be inclusive. It has to be balanced. It has to be inclusive, not only to bring in all sections of society. We also have at the moment a distortion in our economic development, say between north and south.
Correct.
So I think all that it's a very large challenge, and it needs money.
It's a long-term challenge.
It's a long-term challenge. It needs huge amounts of investment. Right. It needs planning. It needs working within the whole of the government approach, and I'm sure that that's what we have to do if we have to make that third largest economy meaningful for our people. And you have mentioned education and health. I think they are critical sectors. Absolutely. In any development, in any social development, because you can't really take people.
No, and also freeing up the economy, not letting these raids take place, the enforcement directorate entering business houses, getting investment out of the country, people moving out of the country. 1.5 million people have already moved out. We are high value,
I think the focus has to remain, like it has been, honestly speaking, for the last few years, on improving the business climate, on improving the ease of doing business in India.
And
it may not work in all situations.
No, but that's really not been the case. Unfortunately, that's not been the case, because you are actually disturbing the economic environment of our country by making people feel they're all crooks. And people are not willing to invest. Lots of people are investing outside the country now. And high worth people are just moving out. That shouldn't happen. And this has been said not just by me. This has been said by a lot of people, even within the business community and the world around. After all, if you're collaborating with the United States of America for greater investment, you're having these free trade agreements, right? And with the UK, you've had one now, with the US now, with Europe. Now, those free trade agreements are not going to work if you're going to have systems in place like this that destabilize economic progress. So I think that that's crucial for India. And once that develops, we'll have the clout, the economic clout, and we'll build up our greatest focus should be on improving our defense technologies. And then we can face the world. Not just Pakistan, the rest of the world. That's what's important.
Well, I agree that just like our domestic challenges are all long-term, yes, and you need long-term solutions, similarly in the neighborhood, there is no once and for all solution. Yes. We have to be patient, we have to invest in the long term, yes, and we have to, as I said, use all our strengths. There is no magic bullet by which you will suddenly change the nature of Pakistan overnight.
Correct.
You have to keep working on it, which is why engagement and dialogue and investing in all your strengths.
Absolutely.
Not expecting that a military option is going to solve all problems. I think that would be a short-sighted approach. So just like we are investing in the long term for our domestic economy and domestic society, we have to take a long-term approach and not get impatient where the neighborhood is concerned.
So the last word for you, Suhasini, dialogue within the country, dialogue with our neighbors, dialogue with the rest of the world. Dialogue is the way forward. Without it, nothing will going to happen.
I think so, and I think it's a political issue. Dialogue is a political issue. So there must be transparency. So the idea that whatever we are doing with other countries, and whether it's our adversaries like Pakistan and China, or whether it is the US where we are signing these big agreements and all, any democratic government has to also convey what they are doing to their own people.
Yeah. And with that word, we hope and pray, and we all stand with this government, with our countrymen, that we will deal with terrorism in a way that it serves the long-term interests of our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you.